Hi, boss.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm hungry. What do we have here?
We have cheese and beef burger, chicken wrap, veggie wrap.
What's so special?
I think you can go with the chicken wrap.
Chicken wrap, right?
Yes.
How much is it?
89 just.
Okay, I think just give me one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No juice.
No juice. Just need the chicken.
No, right.
Yeah. The smiles behind the members of staff, the accuracy in the data of the products they give you does not just happen. It comes with training and investment with money. I just gave them my notes. What they do with it, I don't know. But how to manage that finances to make sure that the business sustains itself is what we'll be talking about. The trainings of the members of staff, making sure that the business doesn't tap money in your pocket and making it stand on its own is the topic for today. But first, let's go talk to Agness, who is an entrepreneur that owns her own business. How does she manage to keep her finances? Let's find out. I'm excited having you. The first time I came here, we tasted the hot chocolate. It was amazing.
Okay, thank you.
I think we also tried, we had chicken wings and something like, really you have some amazing dishes. So talk to me, how long have you been in this business, this industry?
Okay, so in the Chatham industry, it's exactly now 2 years, 8 months, clocking 3 years in February next year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
imagine, time flies.
did you always have a dream to do this kind of business, or were you interested in running a business even when you were young?
I'm interested in food and good spaces.
Okay.
I would lie if I say the dream was always to have an eating place or a cafe or anything to that nature. Business, I feel it's been an inborn thing because I think I've tried so many things growing up, selling things. I find it easy to sell and market anything. So I think that is like an inborn thing for me. But owning like a food place or cafe or something is just an idea that just happened to me and my husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested on the finances side.
Okay.
Let's face the facts. Statistics actually show that most of the small businesses fail because of one, lack of access to finances. So when you started your business, did you have to work to sustain it? How did you manage? Where did the capital come from?
Wow. To start with, of course, finances are very important in starting any business.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. But passion, innovation, and creativity plays, I think, the majority of making a business successful.
Okay.
So having started this business, I was still in formal employment and my husband still works. So we were just the ordinary 5 to 6 kind of couple, going for work, making do, having kids, a bit of savings in the account and getting paid every month. And then when the idea came through, I can't lie to you to say there was a chunk of money somewhere to say, let's start the business and then we have this money and we start. There was a bit of money in our savings account between him and I.
Okay.
And the idea was born. And trust me, the money we had was just enough to secure the space for rent.
Oh.
I'll be honest with you. So, and then my husband and I, from the time we got married, it has always been our thing to say, let's save as much as we can and try not to borrow so much.
Okay.
So we try to restrict ourselves as much as we can.
Try not to borrow so much.
Not so much. Try not to borrow
at least you can borrow the little.
We can borrow a little, if need be.
Okay.
But if we can manage to save between our pays, then we try to keep it that way.
Okay.
So even going into business, we're saying, okay, fine, what do we have on hand and what do we need to borrow for us to start this business? So we talked to the people who are here, we secured the space, and then now we started working towards what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'm still working, he's still working, and we're still getting paid.
Yeah.
So set up, because we started October 2018. I think that's when we secured.
Yeah.
So we secured the space. So working through November, December, January, and we opened February in 2019. We used our savings and what we were getting paid, and we did not borrow, and we did not go to any financial houses for any loan, or I did not get any loan from work. It was just being creative, finding affordable carpenter to do my shelves, having my brother who's at CBU to do the plans for me for the kitchen, and then you find a carpenter to help you realize the plan. So it was a matter of cutting costs. We want something nice and cute, but let's work within our budget.
So basically you decided to work with the basic resources that you had. And not really having the more cash to cover for those.
No.
Okay.
It was hard, I won't lie. The house felt it, because you're taking finances from home and then bringing it here. And then you have your kids who are used to a certain lifestyle and having things, and you're still trying to maintain that whilst you're building a business. A few costs were cut less, but we managed.
I'm going there. Lifestyle.
Okay.
Last, I had a colleague of mine who actually told me that there's a friend who started a business that was art. They were putting out billboards. The first thing that he thought of doing was getting a V8.
Oh, wow.
So now business started, and most of the young entrepreneurs begin spending what they earn to sustain the lifestyle that they deprive themselves when they were giving the money to the business.
Okay.
How did you manage this?
I think, again, sometimes it's what you're working for and towards for. Of course, the name of the cafe is for my kids.
Okay.
So I think I do not have the luxury to necessarily think about my needs and what I want. Of course, I would want the most expensive handbag. I would want the most expensive phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would want that. But I'm working for my kids. The cafe is for their legacy. So I think whatever money we had or we got, we knew what we're trying to build. So every little money that we get, like, trust me, the first year was just about reinvesting and reinvesting.
Yeah.
And nothing else. So I think that's what helped us to stay grounded. Of course, there were some days we would.
Yeah. Are you still working to sustain the business, or the business is now sustaining itself?
Actually, what happened, because we opened February 2019. By March, I had resigned. It was becoming impossible for me to still work.
Yeah.
Because I was managing a store somewhere, and having to be here and still manage, and leaving it to someone else be here, it was becoming a little like, okay, we're trading on very thin ice. So I had to resign and be full-time here. So yeah,
so you
the business grow.
You are interesting me to ask more questions, especially on when most of people would want to go and venture their businesses out of their career of specification. But after graduating, you went and managed a school, came back, started a business that's different from what you were managing.
I was managing a store.
Oh, a store.
A jewelry store.
Huh.
Yes.
And you never wanted to go that same...
No, not really. What I studied, what I went into as work, and there's three different things. So I think it was getting experience from each particular
for leadership
stage.
qualities?
Yes. So I liked it, but it wasn't the kind of thing I would actually venture into as my own. Because like I told you, I'm a foodie, and I like good spaces. So this is my comfortable zone. It's easy for me to do.
Who manages the finances?
My husband does.
Okay.
Hardly saying it, like, I'm sure a lot of women will be like, oh, she's let go.
So how does the business maintain its cash flow for it to cover its expenses, pay its employees, get enough clients? As the owner of the business, how do you make sure that the business is earning enough money to cover and pay off its expenses?
Targets.
Okay.
Targets has always helped us a lot. And that's something I picked up on where I was working. Set a target. Each month is not the same. Understand, of course, the first year was, you're just trying to know how the business works. You're trying to see how March will perform with April, how December is different from how August was. So first year was a lot of mistakes, and of course, I would admit. But the second year, it was a matter of now looking at how our last year was and then setting targets. So our cash flow is maintained in such a way that you feel, okay, August, what do we have? What are our expenses for the cafe? So you say, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. So even when the money is coming in, you're making sure that everything is banked to the coin, because you know you have expenses to meet at the end of the day. Okay?
Yeah.
So the cash flow is maintained like that, and we've told ourselves now, because setting up on first year, we took quite a lot from the family. Okay, so now we tell ourselves the cafe has to sustain itself, and we still need to feel that we're running a business and we can get a bit of a profit.
Yeah.
So we make sure that the cash flow stays in, and make sure all the little leakages that we noticed in our first and second year, we're slowly sealing them down, because those will always be there. There's some things that happens unknowingly. You have an employee, and without notice, they stop. You have to get another one. Training is expensive, especially in a business like where we are. Training is expensive. You're wasting resources. So it's those small leakages, but how you maintain them. So our cash flow is maintained in such a way that my husband is an accountant by profession, so that helps us. He's very strict with the finances, so he makes sure that everything that's coming in is spent where it's supposed to go.
So you are his boss?
I am his boss. He even says it. But he's my boss in another way, because I'm not at liberty to just get up and say, okay, I need 5,000, I need to do this, let me have it. It has to be well explained, where it's going, what are we expecting what are the returns? If you're spending this much, what are we getting out of it? Yeah. So I'm still a little answerable to him when it comes to finances like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the issue of members of staff for the business. I know that's another challenge that most of the businesses struggle with. You have members of staff that don't much worry about where the resources are coming from to cover their payroll expenses. And you said training is expensive. So what strategy did you take from the time the business began to now to make sure that you don't spend more, but at the same time that your members of staff are becoming effective?
That's a tough one, James. The expense for training, you really can't run away from it. Or you can't run away from people getting the training, becoming good, and moving on to the next best thing. Because I can't say I'm the most, the best paying cafe around. So they'll get the benefit of being here, being trained, and then someone comes here, they like the way they do the drink, and then they push them and they go. I can't control that. But with training, what we've done so far is to at least get someone who's really who has an idea about stuff, and who can even just watch a video and they'll be able to know what to do. So that I don't necessarily have to be in the kitchen with you and brew a coffee and use milk and use whatever. You see what I mean? So we can just watch a video, you understand it, and then we can move forward. So it's about getting a person who at least has an idea, who a barista or who's a chef is, so that we don't waste too much time about that. Yeah.
I have a tradition on the show.
Okay.
I ask 2 last questions.
Okay.
They might be tough, they might be easy.
Okay.
Have you ever crushed your competitors?
Oh, wow. As in, you mean come and then say, you my competitor, I'm going to do this, and I kill
killing their business so
survive.
Your business can be on top. By gaining the competitive advantage, but making sure that all competitors are slashed down.
Right? Our tag says taste the difference, and we try to go by that. So we try to exist with our competitors, but be so different that I don't feel threatened by you or you don't feel threatened by us.
Okay.
So can I admit to the fact that I've crushed a competitor before? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I've stood our own, and our competitors also have stood their own.
But do you work with them in the same, like as a team, maybe trying to raise those that are starting up?
Yeah, for some cafes that have already been standing in Kitwe, where we have numbers, we exchange ideas. They'll tell you can get the cheapest item of this, what you're using this side, and there's a coexistence. Okay. There's a coexistence. My husband is good friends with another cafe in Lusaka, and
Lusaka is a bad distance.
I know, but they've come here and opened the cafe here, so we're still in good terms.
Okay, so yeah. I don't really call them as your last words, because I know I'll be getting you on the show as often as possible.
I would appreciate that.
What would be your advice to startups, to business companies that are already struggling with, one, keeping their financial records, two, maintaining the cash flowing in their system? What would be your key tips on them being successful?
My husband and I, we've always had a principle of saying, let your money have a home. I think we heard it from somewhere. We watch a lot of TV. Can't remember where, but we've sworn by that. Let your money or finances have a home. So whatever you're making, whatever you're doing, let that money be directed somewhere. Money that is coming in and you don't have a plan for it and you don't know where you're going will always find its way to ooze out and to go to places that they're not supposed to. So whatever is coming in, make sure that it knows where it's going. And so to any entrepreneurs coming into the business, no, it's hard. Sometimes you might not have the best of the things that you want, but learn to start from where you are. I know people always say that start small, whatever, but I always say if where you are is a shock of town and they can be like, oh wow, this is what you have, then start there. Don't be shy to say, oh, because people say start small, I'm gonna start small and then build up from there. No, start at a level that you are comfortable yourself. Set a standard for yourself. To be honest with you, the finances we had, our experience we had, it would have been so easy to just open a very small restaurant and you're doing our traditional shimas and whatever and everything. And it would have been fine. No offense to that. But it's about, okay, what do we want for ourselves? It might be a high standard to set for ourselves, but we'll do it. And then we start from there and then you build up. So never underestimate the little you have. Be creative. There's always someone willing to help you. First year, I think we got so many free things I can't even count. Free photos, free coverage, free anything. People were just willing to help. So don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be scared to say, okay, I do not have money right now to pay for you. What can I do in exchange of service? Is what also helped us so much in our first year. Yeah. It was a matter of what can I do for you to make sure that the business is also extended. Yeah. Like I'll give you an example. The most shows that we hosted, there was just a matter of come and host a show here so that people can know about the place. Because when you're in the business, people didn't have an idea about us. Yeah. So when you're not paying for the venue, you're not paying for anything, just come and have a show. For us, we're getting publicity out of it. Yeah. So it's have your connections. Let your money have a home. A borrower is always a slave to a lender, is it? Is that the way it goes? Yeah. My husband is on understanding most of this because he's always like, try to borrow less. I can't say you can't borrow because even as second year, I think we borrowed from ourselves. Okay, for us, it's always been borrowing from home and taking it to the business. But try to borrow as little as you can because your business, you'll be making a profit, but if you have credit somewhere, you won't for the weight of your money. You can have a 10,000 today and you owe 7p. You remain with 3p and then it's to be frustrating to your efforts. Yeah. So try to borrow as little as you can. and ask for help. That's why Africans were a community. We're raised as a family. So ask for whatever help you can. So to the entrepreneur coming up, I know it's not easy, James. It's not easy. I can tell you this. We can smile and look pretty, and
they also want to sign on those checks.
It feels nice. I can't lie, but it's you have to know why you started.
Yeah.
Why you started is very important. Even your spending culture will be determined by your reasons why you started. If you started to show off, oh yeah, go ahead and show off. If that's your reason, it will motivate you to work hard.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a legacy, do it. Because in our African setup, not to say that we don't do it, or in Zambian setup, let me say that, you find that businesses don't have the longevity, like staying longest, a brand staying longer. So focus on that. Build
Keeping your brand up to the plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's look to the future and
we'll still be coming here to get some more coffee, some more hot chocolate.
Please do. We try to do the best we can and serve people in the best that we can and make sure the food is nice and tasty.
Thank you for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me, and please go again.
Okay. So passion, discipline, training, and financial capability is what makes the business run. Let's check out the financial tips of the week.